brought to you courtesy of Don King Productions in association with Lion Promotions, Main Events, the Mandalay Bay, and Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association, the president Gilberto Mendoza. Supervisor is Juan Luis Torralba, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. Luther Mack. Introducing to you our three judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Las Vegas, Nevada, Chuck Joppy. Also from Las Vegas, Bill Graham. And from Redford, Michigan, Robert Watson. And our referee in charge of this bout, he is working in this his 50th world title bout, Jay Nady. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first on my right, he is fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing red, white, and blue trunks, and hailing from Seabrook, Maryland. He weighed in at the middleweight limit of 160 pounds even. His record stands at 32 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, with 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former two-time WBA middleweight champion of the world, introducing William Joppy. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, this 12-round title bout, wearing white trunks with gold trim, joining us from London, England. He weighed in at a ready 159 pounds, undefeated in his campaign to the ring with 32 wins, no losses, 29 big wins coming by way of knockout. He holds the British Commonwealth, the European, and the USBA titles. He is ranked the WBA #1 middleweight contender. Tonight making his United States debut, introducing the Battersea Bomber, Howard Eastman. And once again, it's Jay Nady, our referee in charge, now to give instructions.
Do we have any questions? Obey my commands. I want a good, clean fight. Belly button to the hip bones aligned. Let's touch gloves now and let's come out and go to work.
It's a little unusual for a fighter like Joppy, coming off a devastating KO, to go up against a formidable opponent. But Joppy's camp feels that Eastman isn't that formidable. It is also unusual for a fighter like Eastman, who is a mandatory challenger, to fight a fighter with the credentials of a Joppy, when what most fighters do in this position is sit back and wait for a title shot.
Well, this is the title shot, isn't it?
Huh?
This is for a title.
If you think that anything and everything that's called a title fight is really a title fight, I mean, part of the great fun of our fighter meetings yesterday, frankly, was to have Bernard Hopkins sit with both of these guys and in a very friendly way ask each of them, hey, do you really think you're fighting for a title? And both guys, of course, had to struggle for a rationale to say yes to the guy who is the middleweight champion of the world. It was very interesting. Joppy just missing with the right hand over the top. And I think Joppy probably wants early on to see if Eastman can handle his punching power.
Boy, Joppy goes to the body with some last warning. Good power shot.
Jay Nady already saying to Howard Eastman, last warning on holding inside.
Well, I don't think he should start warning him that quick about the, because you get yourself in a position where you're going to disqualify someone unnecessarily. Let the fight develop, see what kind of style he's going to go with first.
Nevertheless, we were 1 minute into the fight when Nady said to Eastman, last warning.
That doesn't make sense.
Eastman's list of opponents is so nondescript by the standards on this side of the Atlantic that he's really largely an unknown quantity, even at 32-0.
Pretty elusive. Keeps his balance, bob, weave, and he moves.
Allowing Joppy to be the aggressor. Left-hand counter inside by Eastman. His first solidly landed punch. Joppy getting to the body, missing upstairs.
Whenever you fight the boxers from Europe, especially England, you never don't try to knock them out too quick. They really train about boxing and moving out of the way of harm's way. You can burn out trying to knock them out too quick.
Eastman with a well-thrown uppercut inside against Joppy, and that's a punch he might use more frequently in the rounds to come. Now Eastman lands a 1-2 as he begins to open up his offensive arsenal against Joppy.
A guy like Eastman, small body like this, thin leg, he's accustomed to being jumped on because people automatically think you're inferior because of your legs.
Absolutely.
So nothing out of the ordinary is happening to him.
I think those are the skinniest legs I've seen on somebody who is identified as a middleweight contender.
You can't hit and hold.
I don't know why the referee is on this guy so soon.
Well, he's claiming it's not just the holding, George, but that he's holding and hitting.
Bell! Here's your water. Who been drinking out of that water?
Nobody. You. I opened it. That's
When?
it. Nobody. Just here. Here. It's my water.
Yeah, but I never drank that water.
I want to go. Here's a new one. Here's a new one. It's good. All right. Yeah, I'm glad you got it. Here. You don't know what to do.
Okay.
Even paint it. Even paint it. Like, keep them back.
William Joppy trained in the same camp with Hasim Rahman because he shares Rahman's trainer, Adrian Davis. As you may have seen there, Joppy stood between rounds. They did not bother to bring a stool into the round. CompuBox numbers in round one favored Joppy, and most fascinatingly to me, George, Howard Eastman was clearly distrustful of his own corner's choice of water bottle.
You better be distrustful in this business when the referee starts warning you 2 minutes into the fight. You better be ready for that.
I'm not sure what that has to do with the water.
You better learn.
To pick up on what George was saying.
If you don't know, you better ask somebody.
We read in an article that in his fight against Robert McCracken, Eastman replaced his trainer John Rooney in the middle of the fight. So he's nothing if not eccentric.
Let go. You're holding on, break it.
He just flat out refused to drink from the water bottle they offered him at the end of round one.
Don't hold.
You heard Miguel Diaz telling William Joppy he doesn't know what to do when you throw a right hand.
Box out. Box out.
We're talking about Joppy training up there in Big Bear where Rahman was.
No elbow.
To train for a supposedly quicker fighter like Eastman, he sparred many rounds with Shane Mosley, the welterweight champion.
They don't get any better than that.
No, do you suppose Mosley was trying to find out what it's like to punch with a middleweight?
Well, it was good speed work for Joppy, and some people I know who saw some of that sparring said that Mosley was having his way and not even trying that hard.
And he was weighing 165 or 166 was Shane Mosley when he was in the ring with Joppy.
But then you get a sparring partner like Shane Mosley, you better let him have his way because he may not spar with you the next day. You're all in the paper. It's a publicity thing. You don't want to beat him up if you're Joppy, even if you can.
So far, we don't see any after effects of the knockout in Joppy. He's fighting at close quarters. He's been hit a few clean punches.
Don't hold his head. Box out. Hands up.
He's putting the pressure on Joppy now. Stepping forward, doesn't have that much weight, but yet he's still making Joppy pick his legs up and get out of the way.
Eastman with a right-hand counter inside, pops Joppy's head back and moves him out. Mostly it's been Joppy's aggression through round two. Now Eastman changes up a little bit and crowds Joppy into the rope, firing a left-right combination. Uppercut by Eastman just misses. Left hook lands. I'm told that after this fight and before the next fight on the card, our friend Charles will be talking with Shane Mosley so we can hear what Mosley has to say about his experiences sparring with the middleweight, William Joppy. let's take a look at Joppy's assertion with regard to Felix Trinidad, that Trinidad may in effect have had brass knuckles in his gloves.
Trinidad looked spectacular in this fight at Madison Square Garden. Gave Joppy the beating of his life. Joppy said later that he had never been hit like that. But then, on the 29th of September, prior to the fight with Bernard Hopkins, Hopkins' seconds found that Trinidad's hand was wrapped incorrectly with a layer of tape over the knuckles, perhaps some water, but that they claim enhanced the power of the then champion.
Not so. When you're a puncher, nothing can help you use more pad, takes the power away from it. Only protects your knuckles.
So there's no way that Trinidad could have created what amounted to brass knuckles by wrapping his hands illegally.
No way. If you're a puncher, you're a puncher. If you're not, no matter what you put on it. If you put a little water on them, it'll help you kind of put a knot on someone's head. But it's not going to bring you that coveted knockout.
For his part, Joppy says, don't hold him. I got a lot of respect for Bernard Hopkins. He and his people made Trinidad fight him fair and square.
This is one strange fight. Here's a guy, thin legs, coming the aggressive and landing the most important shots of the fight.
And he doesn't seem to have a lot of punching power, but it's not dissuading him from going into the fray and trading with Joppy.
Better hope Joppy's landing some body shots to keep this guy's power away from him in the latter round.
Stop!
Joppy is starting to hold a little bit now.
Joppy has expended a lot of energy, throwing many punches in the first 2.5 rounds. Great right hand lands for Joppy. Eastman just keeps coming. Eastman, who backed up all the way through round 1, now steps forward.
Every time Joppy hits him with anything, he always throws the last shot. Always be the one to get right back on it.
Stop! Great.
Joppy is being smart because he's going to the body a little bit to take the power out of the for the later round.
Let him out, let him out.
Eastman ducking and diving and then stepping forward behind the jab. He seems to feel at this point that he's tasted Joppy's power and can handle it.
No doubt about it. He's not afraid of Joppy. Matter of fact, Joppy does not want to get into a slugfest there.
Uppercut by Eastman. Perfectly thrown.
When a man does not have respect for you, it's hard. No matter what you do, he's just going to keep coming. You got to make him respect. Knock him down.
Easy for you to say, George.
It's kind of easy to say.
Because you can do it.
Joppy assured us that he wouldn't get into a slugfest. He said he wanted to use his speed and box. Howard Eastman is making that a tougher and tougher proposition. Here's a live shot of heavyweight champion Hasim Rahman. He has been the heavyweight champion of the world since early the morning of April 22 in Johannesburg, South Africa, when somewhere between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning he knocked Lennox Lewis out with a lightning right-hand shot. Lewis called it the lottery punch. Rahman said, there's a lot of Powerball like that left in my arsenal. This man, so far, has thoroughly enjoyed being the heavyweight champion of the world. He's had that smile on his face pretty much nonstop since April 21.
You know, to call it a lottery punch is accurate. He did hit the lottery. But to call it a lucky punch couldn't be more inaccurate.
Stop!
Harold, how'd you score the first 3 rounds of Joppy Eastman?
Okay, Jim. 30-27, 3 rounds to nothing, William Joppy. Jimmy Smith, what a very, very fast pace, a very, very busy guy, William Joppy. And you wonder if he's fighting too quick a pace for a 12-round fight. Howard Eastman's missing an awful lot of punches. When he does land, you can see he's a solid puncher. One quick thing about Larry mentioned the beard. The rule is, if the beard is long enough to cushion the punches or to hurt the other guy, stretch the other guy, then they make him shave. Flip Romansky, now a commissioner, examined Howard Eastman, said it's not too long. Well, you know, you look at it, you think it does cushion the blows.
Yeah, it may not cushion the blows, but it looks like it might, and appearances are important.
Yeah, and it's appearance we're talking about, because Romansky insists that neurologically, it's not a factor. If you're going to hit him on the chin, you'll do damage with or without the beard. But it certainly does look as though it would function as a pad. So what if you had an opponent?
I can tell you, a beard does not change or make anything in a boxing match.
So if you had an opponent who looked like that, you wouldn't demand that he had.
He can even have a thicker one. Just doesn't matter. It just used to be a gentleman in these sport, and guys used to be clean shaven, and for a long time we tried to keep it like that. And that's the only reason someone would protest a beard or a mustache or braids. That's all.
So you think it's just a target?
Well, if you can hit it, it'll remind you it's there. It's not going to help nor hurt anything, I can tell you that.
That was Bernard Hopkins' point of view also. He said, I wouldn't worry about the beard. I would just see it as a target.
Gives you a weird feeling trying to hit Santa Claus or something. You mean that bring me something?
I think he looks like a swashbuckling Guyanese pirate. Born in Guyana, raised in England, Howard Eastman against Washington, D.C.'s William Joppy, now living in Seabrook, Maryland.
He's allowing Joppy to totally take the fight away from him now. There was a time he had a strategy in mind. Now it's about moving around, taking shots.
Well, if Lennox Lewis shows as much zip after being knocked out as Joppy is so far, we'll have a fight in the main event. Of course, difference being that Lennox Lewis is fighting the guy who knocked him out.
Joppy landed a long right hand there. This round, Eastman alternated between going backward and going forward. And among the glittering lights on the Las Vegas Strip, you can see this building-sized billboard demonstrating that Britney Spears is in town for her big concert tomorrow night on HBO. That's down the street. Many of the lucky people who are here to see the heavyweight championship fight tonight will be equally as fortunate to go down the street and see Britney Spears tomorrow night.
Now watch what he does. Watch your left jab what it does, Joppy. Jab it to the stomach and a right hand to the head that open up the face. Yeah.
The voice you heard in Joppy's corner was that of Adrian Davis, trainer of Joppy and of heavyweight world champion Hasim Rahman. Joppy's lowest punch output of the fight in round 4. He threw 51 and landed 15. Eastman threw 57 punches in round 4, landed 12. Eastman threw about half those punches backing up and about half those punches going forward. And now he comes forward again.
Whenever he decides to come forward, Eastman, he does a better job than Joppy does.
So far, Eastman seems to pack a pretty strong chin under that beard. He's taking Joppy's stuff.
He's got 2 beards.
Saw William Joppy land a clean uppercut there that snapped Eastman's head back.
Yeah, Eastman is starting to put himself in a position where he's going to have to pull off a knockout if he's not careful. takes these rounds. They're there for him to get. Whenever he decides to throw punches, he's in charge. Joppy is content to throw a few shots and then move out of the way and run into a different position and wait for Eastman to come again. Good right hand. The best one of the night by Eastman.
Yep, and Joppy.
The best one of the night.
Joppy momentarily stunned by the chopping right hand of Eastman. Eastman was able to step in and land another 1-2 combo. But now Joppy begins to sick and move again.
Boy, you know what? You've been knocked out as recent as Joppy's been knocked out. There's a lingering effect of these knockouts, like a sore knee. It's easy to be knocked out again.
And Eastman is becoming more accurate with his punches now as round 5 progresses and has landed a couple of very good combinations to Joppy's body.
Joppy is good to just box and move out of the way. Don't get into any exchanges.
There, Eastman goes back to the body as he crowds Joppy against the ropes.
I saw that. Don't do that again. Get your head up.
Uppercut, the second best punch of the night. The right uppercut by Eastman.
Howard Eastman fighting his first fight in the United States. 32 wins, no losses, 29 KOs coming in for Eastman against opposition so nondescript, it's nondescript beyond nondescript. But he looks pretty good midway through the fight against William Joppy. Sanyo is proud to bring you aerial views of Las Vegas from the Sanyo lightship. It's one of the largest blimps in the world, 65 feet long, 46 feet wide, and 55 feet high. I don't know the normal dimensions of a blimp, but that does sound big to me.
Put some press, let's figure out what lady looking on. Here, and try what I say, the jab to the stomach, open the head, the right hand to the head. The stomach comes to the other right hand. Okay, baby.
When asked why he was taking this fight against a tough opponent, Eastman said, if I can't beat him, I don't deserve a title shot. In that round, at least, he gave an imitation of a guy who possibly could win the fight, although he is well behind.
CompuBox numbers in the 5th round gave Eastman the edge in power connects, connecting on 22 of them to 16 for Joppy. Round 5 might have been the most effective so far for Howard Eastman, and Harold Letterman gave it to him.
Joppy got in a good right hand that time, but it was only a retaliating type right hand. Eastman lands the power with authority. He's got the more authority this time. Believes in right hand.
Keep your head up. Let go of his head. Stop. 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 You're not punching. Let go of his head.
George, have you ever seen anyone with yellow shoes before? Prize fighter?
Oh, yeah, they get pretty sharp around here.
Yeah?
Good body shots by Eastman that time to make him drop his hand a little bit so that you can get that shot in. That's what you got to do. Whip them to the body real quick, hurt them, then they'll drop their hands. He's hoping Joppy would do it.
Joppy landing 2 right-hand uppercuts inside, tries it again. That one partially blocked. And there's another uppercut for Joppy inside. That one just missed. And he is going to keep throwing that punch until Eastman blocks it with his left. Uppercut, uppercut, uppercut for William Joppy. Now he comes back over the top. Stop!
I said when a guy does not have respect for you, you got to put it on him. Eastman just does not have the type of respect needed. He saw everything and believes he can land that big shot. Joppy's made up his mind, and he's in condition to do this all night to win this hands down.
Joppy throwing 3- and 4-punch combinations, focusing on the uppercut in this round, landing the right-hand uppercut repeatedly, throwing it even more repeatedly. Eastman says, I can throw a right uppercut too.
Hold your head up. Hold your head down.
Good body shot by Joppy as he steps away.
Whenever this guy Eastman gets something going, the referee steps in and argue with him.
Don't hold. Let go, let go, let go.
That kind of punch smarts, doesn't it, George? Right to the ear.
I mean, those are good shots.
Last time, do not
See,
hold this
there's the
down.
argument the referee picks every time he does it. It's no coincidence, I'm telling you. It's not a coincidence.
What are you implying, George?
Because every time he gets a good shot on Joppy and have Joppy going a little bit, he steps in and starts an argument to give this guy the time to relax. It's no good. It's no good.
Let's see if we can pull up that segment of the round in which Eastman hit Joppy a square right hand. It looked to me like he was holding him with his left as he did it.
There's Lennox Lewis's dressing room, and our camera is not being allowed in there, although traditionally over the years, all the Lewis fights we've covered, we've never been barred from access there before. So there's one change in Lennox's approach to this particular fight. Meanwhile, Hasim Rahman, relaxed and waiting inside his own dressing room. You see that his hands are not yet wrapped because trainer Adrian Davis is in the ring handling William Joppy right now. So Rock says, well, I'll go bare knuckles tonight.
Okay, here's the position. He threw a right hand. He was holding with his left right there.
That's not a hold. His left hand is just on his shoulder. The guy's breathing around.
I agree with you, George.
The referee is looking for any little thing.
Maybe Jay Nady doesn't like Eastman's beard. I'm just kidding, okay? Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Chip. I got it 59-55, 5 rounds to 1, William Joppy. Certainly, Howard Eastman had a real good 5th round. William Joppy started off very strong in the 6th round. Howard Eastman came on strong in the last minute of the 6th, but Joppy had won the first 2 minutes, so I gave it to William Joppy.
Eastman's coming on right now. Let's see if that referee can stay out of the way for a while.
I was just going to comment, if Eastman would start a little bit sooner in each round, I'm sure he'd be doing a lot better.
Well, here he is starting the 7th round with his own action instead of waiting for Joppy to come to him.
That's a good right hand by Eastman. Body shot. There's a better right hand.
Right uppercut lands again for Joppy. When Eastman mounts an assault and comes forward offensively, Joppy slows his pace.
Good right hand and hook by Eastman. Left hook and right hand.
Joppy's right hand partially blocked by Eastman's left. That one's solid. Uppercut was short. That uppercut landed as you saw. Hard left hand to the body by Joppy.
Good shot.
Good combinations.
That was about a 6-punch combination, and about 5.5 of them landed cleanly.
Good energetic fight between two well-conditioned middleweights as we arrive at round 7 of the scheduled 12.
Good right left by Eastman.
Don't hold him.
And you heard Jay Nady again yelling, don't hold him, as Eastman tried to size Joppy up. Now they reverse positions in front of the ropes, and Joppy gets a chance.
Eastman's laying there trying to get this guy in exchange. He got him. There's the left hook. We needed a little more power, body into it, though.
Good left hook by Joppy as he backed away. Eastman just keeps coming. Another big left hook by Joppy.
Now he... Good right hand by Eastman. Combination. Uppercut.
Don't hold.
George, why has this become such an uppercut contest?
Don't hold.
I don't know when we've seen two fighters throw uppercuts more consistently at one another.
This Eastman has got a repertoire. Oh, but good right hand by Eastman this time. Let's see if the referee starts arguing with him. Let's see.
And that uppercut stunned Joppy.
Stop it! Don't do that again.
Fun round, and you saw Eastman say, "Yeah, baby," as he tapped Joppy on the tummy.
Put it between his legs. Howard.
What a round. Look at the CompuBox numbers.
Where's my wall? I know. Yeah, baby. Right. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Stop, where's my head, man? What you do? Yeah. No, where's my... Deep. My word, right, Black? You're okay. Okay. But he play puzzle with you when he... Just turn your shoulder, bend your knees and turn your shoulder and rip it. Like this, huh?
Joppy does some real good professional work here. Left jab, an uppercut, left hook, head and body, and a three-punch combination to the head. Later in the round, some long, straight, hard punches by Eastman. Best round of the fight.
Our shots in round 7 by CompuBox numbers. Eastman landing 35 to 62. Joppy 28 out of 41, 68%. Together, the two fighters connected for 63 power shots in round 7. And Harold Letterman gave the round to the British fighter, Howard Eastman.
Eastman is doing the counter punching now. Going underneath to the body and to the head.
This is becoming a grueling battle, and you suspect the fight is on the table.
He is hurt. Joppy got hurt that time.
Eastman clocks him.
Got hurt that time.
And a straight right hand.
Stop! Break.
Effective use of the uppercut is turning this thing around for Howard Eastman.
Stop! Break.
Solid right hand shot by Eastman there.
Where does this little guy get the power?
There's a hard right hand across the top by Joppy.
Joppy's fighting a good fight this time. Ooh, uppercut again by Eastman.
And a left hook by Joppy and a right cross. And Eastman plays a little possum and then fires his uppercut one more time.
He doesn't fool Joppy for a second.
No, Joppy's been there, done that.
Joppy showing good recuperative powers after taking a couple of stiff punches.
I'm surprised, very surprised.
And Eastman dropping his hands and trying to invite Joppy inside so he can throw an uppercut. Winds up firing the left uppercut from distance. Joppy clocks him across the top with a right cross.
Joppy's got him hurt now. He should stay on it. Don't allow him to get himself together.
This is acting, and Joppy knows it's acting. Big uppercut by Eastman. Joppy took it well.
Stop! Don't hold, don't hold.
Seldom you see a European fighter with that kind of confidence and
Keep your head up.
right hand shot.
Yeah, it's a little surprising. You don't often see a British fighter chasing an American fighter like that.
All new to me. Shot went a little low that time by Eastman.
If he's not careful,
Don't do that with your arm.
whatever the result of this,
Yeah, push him away, referee. That's right. Make it horrible for him up there.
Eastman's liable to find some work in the U.S., even if he loses this fight.
Entertaining fighter.
Good right hand.
Howard Eastman with another excellent round. This fight's getting closer as we get closer to the end.
Howard. Water. That's my head. Water. Look at him. All right. Here, here's the water. Howard, don't throw one punch at a time, Howard. You gotta give it to him. No, move! Come on, that left jab is landing. We'll slam that jab more. Slam the jab. That jab is landing. And fall in with the right hand, you won't see those two. Suck it in deep. When you inside, baby, you throw or get the pocket out of there. You understand? Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Big one. Come on, don't put no ice inside. Put more grease on his face. We'll get a little more grease. All right, come on, guys.
Here's Eastman stepping in with a real big uppercut. And Joppy has been able to deal with anything that's coming back, so we do not see any
Lingering effects. No effects
of what happened to him in the middleweight tournament.
But in round 9, Eastman begins the round with 2 big right hands across the top. You can see that the Letterman card is getting closer. William Joppy is getting hit at close range by power shots over and over.
Uppercut. Whenever he throws one, he can't miss. Eastman does not miss.
He has really found confidence with that punch. CompuBox numbers were sensational in round 8. Joppy 39 out of 74. Eastman 33 out of 64. Eastman has the edge in power connects.
You know, George, he's throwing some of those uppercuts from far out and leaving himself open for a counter if Joppy can see that.
That's right. Joppy's going to have to start jumping back on him whenever he throws one. He's out of position. That was hooked by Eastman that time.
Well, you know, Eastman's not that easy to counter because he's deceptively quick. He gets back into position pretty doggone quickly after he throws big punches.
Really does.
He drops his hands, says to Joppy, come to me. I want to throw an uppercut. Come on. And Joppy intelligently stays away.
Joppy is, as far as I'm concerned, a better boxer. Box him the first 3 rounds. He can just do it over and over each round.
Also, what is unusual here is that the tall guy is chasing the smaller guy. So this is not your normal way of going about business, but it's an entertaining way.
Big left hook inside by Eastman.
Let him out, stop!
Joppy hasn't really landed much of anything in this round.
Head down.
Eastman
A good right hand by Eastman.
Drives Joppy halfway across the ring with that right hand. Throws the uppercut again.
Don't hold his head down.
Joppy's got the stuff to do it. Can't wait for a guy who's trying to get in one good shot on you. You got to keep power punches on him. Joppy shouldn't wait.
Don't hold.
Well, once Howard Eastman determined about the 4th round that he didn't really respect Joppy's punching power, this has been a pitched battle.
Good fight. Whenever Eastman decides to double jab and throw that right hand, he hardly ever misses. Joppy got a little smart that time and moved out of the way.
Stop!
Joppy starting to put more range between himself and Howard Eastman, having learned a lot in 9 rounds against a relative unknown who came in with an unbeaten record, 32-0 and 29 knockouts. Let me give you some boxing reminders. December 1, HBO's World Championship Boxing returns with a heavyweight doubleheader between Vladimir Klitschko and David Izon, and Lance Mount Goofy Whitaker, choose the name, against Jameel McCline. 2 weeks later, more heavyweights. Evander Holyfield against John Ruiz, live on HBO. Can Evander defeat Father Time and Ruiz in their rubber match? Tune in and see for yourself. And in March, HBO pay-per-view will be back with a rematch of Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. Their first meeting, February 19, 2000, was the fight of the year for that year, so we can expect another great one. Please note, this is HBO pay-per-view's next event because the Oscar De La Hoya Roman Karmazin December 8th fight has been postponed. Oscar will be with us live on this broadcast a little later in the show to talk about the status of his injured wrist. Through 9 rounds, CompuBox numbers show Howard Eastman and William Joppy landing a virtually equal number of power shots. 173 for Joppy, 172 for Eastman. Harold Letterman, how do you have it going to the 10th?
Okay, Jim, this is getting exciting. The last 3 rounds, I'd give it to Howard Eastman. I mean, William Joppy really looks like he's feeling the effects of that pace that he started early. He started off fighting at a very, very fast pace. After 5 rounds, had a major league lead, but now I think it's starting to catch up to him. Howard Eastman getting busier landing that big right hand. He's got the Chris Eubank school of showmanship, no question. He clowns a little too much. But then again, Larry, to answer your question, I think those yellow shoes are color coordinated to the trunks and the beard.
Or vice versa. and maybe since he is an exotic bird collector, there's some exotic yellow bird that he has at home.
Well, do you suppose Do you suppose the parrot he calls Tyson is yellow?
No, he said it was a gray parrot.
Oh, that's right. An African gray. Tyson at 36, maybe a tiny bit gray, but we don't know because he's shaving his head now.
I wonder if his birds think that
Don't grab his head.
he's a strange bird.
If they don't, they're in a minority.
Joppy is allowing Eastman to set up his left jab there, and Eastman is trying to coast around the two. He's throwing a lot of hard right hands, so he may be a little weary in there.
Yeah, Eastman has taken something of a rest in the first half of the 10th round compared to his output in the 3 preceding rounds.
Yeah, now he looks like a little bit...
Oh, there's another big uppercut.
Just as we thought steam had gone out of his shots, he comes up with another one.
Well, I mean, and Joppy thought the steam had gone out. That's why he came forward, and Eastman popped him with the same punch he's been popping him with for 6 rounds.
Lead right and left hook by Eastman that kind of shook Joppy. That Joppy is really taking some hard shots, so that he's totally recouped.
Howard Eastman's never lost a professional fight. William Joppy has never KO'd an opponent past the 9th. Eastman does have a couple 10th round knockouts on his dossier. And you can see why he builds the tempo as the fight goes on.
Very clever.
Stand up, stop. Don't push down arm like that. Let go of his head.
Hard body shot by Joppy. That's calculated.
Break, stop. That was low, William.
Jay Nady says that was low, William. Well, it had the intended effect. And now Eastman gets another chance to throw the uppercut. Blocks Joppy, fires a straight right hand. Joppy rallying on his own.
Joppy should keep it on him. Keep it on him, Joppy. Can't allow this guy to get out and get you.
Energy burst to finish the 10th.
Spit in, man.
Come on, man. Open it up.
Let him get that last round at the fucking end. You gotta throw punches. You're way behind. You gotta knock him the fuck out. Don't shout at me. All right, well, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, you're behind. All right, well, you're behind. Throw your hand. You had that round. Don't let him steal it no more. They don't.
Now this is fascinating. You're looking at Hasim Rahman attempting to gain access to Lennox Lewis's dressing room. Rahman wants to go in there to watch Lennox get his hands wrapped because his trainer, Adrian Davis, is not there, nor his chief seconds. They're in the ring with William Joppy. So Rahman wants to go himself to watch Lennox wrap his hands. That's pretty unusual, isn't it, George?
That is strange, but I imagine the commissioner just can make him just wait, hold things until the trainer gets back.
Stop, stop.
Because I'm sure Lennox doesn't want Rock in his dressing room.
No, I don't think anyone wants the other fighter in your dressing room prior to the fight.
We're going to have another hand-wrapping delay.
Hold him, don't work out of there, guys. Work out of there. Work out
Barrera
of there.
Hamed earlier this year when Prince Nassim Hamed delayed the start of the fight for an hour.
An epidemic of hand-wrapping delays.
Now you had an interesting sequence between rounds as Al Banani of Miami, Florida, who is working as the cut man in Howard Eastman's corner, very assertively told him, you're behind on points, you need a knockout to win. Banani may not be giving credit to how close the fight could conceivably be at this point, but what about telling Eastman to go for a knockout, George?
I agree. I totally agree. You're too far away from your home to sit and play games here. You got to go and win rounds.
I agree with you, George. And Eastman said to him, don't shout at me.
Work out of there. Work out.
I'm sorry, this isn't a tea party, Howard.
Earlier this right for the corner to jump on it like that. Tell it like it is. Don't be afraid of the fighter.
Earlier this evening in an undercard bout, we watched Rich Giacchetti and Oliver McCall shouting angrily at each other in McCall's corner. Giacchetti training McCall, angry at him because he wasn't throwing punches against Henry Akinwande. McCall said, you may be upset, but I'm going to knock the guy out. Giacchetti said, you're not going to knock him out unless you go in there and fight. Eventually, fighting the style that he had chosen, McCall knocked Akinwande out. So he won the argument.
With about a minute left in the fight.
Now,
He's switching southpaw.
why do you do that when you're doing so good on the other side? Now Eastman will go under once again and start his uppercut. Just throw him to the body. Joppy seems to be bowing his head right into these uppercuts.
Work, 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 work.
You throw 3 right hand and the guy bows down. Don't throw over his head anymore. Throw under.
In a moment, we're going to find out live from Hasim Rahman what happened when he tried to get into Lennox Lewis's dressing room. There's a good right cross across the top and a left hook under the guard by William Joppy.
Stop!
2 of Joppy's better punches in the last few rounds punctuate the 11th. We got 1 round to go as Jay Nady pushes Eastman back into his corner. Let's go to Fran Charles.
All right, Jim Lampley, we're inside the locker room of Hasim Rahman. A very bizarre situation just occurred where, Hasim, you were prepared actually to go into Lennox Lewis's locker room to see Lennox get his hands wrapped because your people are also in the corner with William Joppy.
Yeah, they said they wanted to wrap their hands at 7:30. Commissioner came back here twice. I said, well, my cornermen in the ring, what do you want me to do? They said, well, they went back and checked with them. They ready to wrap now. They ready to wrap now. They were very persistent about wrapping right now. So they said, we need one person from your camp to come. So I said, well, I'll come. So I went down there, and when Lennox knew I was out the door, they switched to, oh, we'll wait all of a sudden. He don't want to be there, but in a few minutes, he ain't gonna have no choice.
All right, Hasim Rahman, very relaxed and loose, willing to do anything to get this fight underway. Jim Lampley, let's send it back to you ringside.
You know, it's bizarre, but the reality is it's bizarre also for the heavyweight champion of the world to not have his people in the dressing room with him an hour before he's defending his title, even if they are involved with another fight.
Harold Letterman, how do you have it coming to the 12th?
You know, Jim, in the championship rounds, that's when you see the guys that really are world champions. William Joppy, to me, looks like a tired fighter. Yet in rounds 10 and 11, he turned it on and took a fight that could have been very, very close. He outworked Howard Eastman 103, 106, 103 in favor of William Joppy, 7 rounds to 4 because he won rounds 10 and 11 just by out-punching Eastman. Eastman should have come out and got to work.
Well, I think Eastman now believes he needs a knockout because he's fighting as though he thinks he needs one.
You see the referee, he's got the guy off balance. He's not the one holding.
There are 2 fighters in the ring who have taken risks in this fight.
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Joppy coming off a devastating knockout, going up against an undefeated fighter of some quality.
Let go of his head. Let go of his head.
The undefeated fighter, Eastman, took a risk by going in against Joppy when Eastman, has a mandatory challenge in his view. Somebody is guessing wrong.
Boy, Eastman is in some shape. Look at the rally he's putting on here in the 12th round now.
You see, Joppy holds with the opposite hand and the ref doesn't see it, so he assumed that the other guy, Eastman, is holding.
Let him out. Stop. Let him out.
That time Joppy brought his left hand back as Jay Nady approached. He was about to reach out.
See,
Yep, there he
Joppy
is.
doing the holding.
He's holding away from Nady on the side that Nady can't see.
Maybe he's been watching some tapes of our friend Bernard Hopkins.
Oh, you mean you think Bernard is tricky?
I didn't say that, Bernard. I'm still eating crow.
Stop.
Yeah, and Bernard's still celebrating.
Let go of his head. Work.
That Joppy is game.
That Eastman is determined to hit him with an uppercut. That Eastman is a cool customer. Did you see how casually he removed his leg from the rope?
You don't see them much.
Chris Eubank, his countryman, made a lot of money as a showman posturing, and he was a good fighter as well.
Stop. Don't hold it.
And of course we know about Prince Ahmed, so there is an appetite.
Ooh, what a best right hand.
Down goes Joppy. His glove touched the canvas. It's a knockdown, and the significance is it's going to be a 10-8 round for Eastman because they're going to finish the fight, and Eastman will not have had a chance to follow up.
I can tell you he just got one on with the referee not bugging him, that's all.
And you wonder if the rally was too late for Eastman. He came out and dominated the 12th. The knockdown will make it a 10-8 round. Who knows?
It may be too much instead of too little.
Too late.
Too late.
Too much, too late. Both fighters are now going to walk the walk. Try to provide that victory body language. But all of that, of course, is showbiz. The question is, what's on the 3 cards? And that is an open question, because this was a close fight. All 3 judges are from here in the state of Nevada, and that's probably as big a reason as any that Al Banani jumped on Eastman before the 10th round and said, doggone it, you need a knockout.
Could have did it 3 rounds earlier.
Here's the knockdown, and as Larry Merchant says, was it too much too late?
William Joppy showed some real resilience for 11 rounds, 2 minutes and 59 seconds or so before he was knocked down.
This guy Eastman is an accurate power puncher. When he gets it going, he hits the target.
Now, folks, somebody is going to be declared a champion when the result comes in.
But they ain't.
But they ain't. And the promoter of this fight took a lot of applause and salutes just a few months ago for putting on a unification tournament of the middleweight division. And now he's out there congratulating himself and others for having yet another middleweight champion. Showbiz.
All right, let's go to ring announcer Timmy Lennon Jr., who can tell us who has won the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. We have a majority decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Chuck Joppy, scores about 113 to 113, even a draw. Overruled by judges Robert Watson, who scores at 114 to 112, and Bill Graham, who sees it 115 to 112, in favor of the winner of the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World, William Joppy.
So Joppy holds